All right, welcome to Do or Done See, the only podcast where you can hear all latest in television and entertainment news from the 2000s with too many hosts with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and the third one is
Kyle Bridger. I'm going to start with you, Dave. You're the comedy, the joke-er, and John can be the drama. And I'm the wild card. You don't know what I'm going to do.
Okay, I would reference a show that uses wildcard, but I don't want to give any hints away of a possible show that could be eligible in our special TV draft game that we are going to be doing tonight on the podcast. A very special episode of Do or Done See. This is going to be a fun little game we're going to do here because, well, let's start off. In the fall of 2020, there was no summer box office. We were looking for a draft. We were sad we weren't able to draft. So we created our very own TV draft game inspired by the Big Picture's movie draft. But instead of picking a year and drafting movies from that year, we drafted TV shows from a specific decade for our streaming service. For that one, we did the 1990s. So we built a streaming service with all the shows from 1990s, almost like if you were on a desert island and you could only have 5 TV shows. Which 5 would it be? Which five would you be stuck with? And it was a lot of fun. We drafted our 90s shows, but tonight we're going to do it for another decade, the 2000s. There's going to be 5 categories, and each player will choose one TV series in each category that had the premiere episode somewhere in the 2000s. So that first episode, the pilot, had to have aired January 1st, 2000, all the way to December 31st, 2009. Could just be one episode, that counts. It could get really complicated if we were like, well, if 75% aired in... No, we're not doing that. It's just one episode. The premiere episode was in the 2000s. There are 5 categories include drama, comedy, reality or animation. That's in one category there. It could be either or. A network hit, which means it must have aired on one of the big 4 broadcast networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, or Fox. And then a wild card. It could be anything. It literally could be anything you want for that wild card spot. It's your choice. Now, in the end, these 5 series will make up your own streaming service, and then listeners will vote on which service that they may want to subscribe to. So these may not be your exact favorite shows, but in the end, your name is on this service. You have to stand by your picks. Maybe treat it like you're on a desert island. You're stuck with these 5. So if you choose something you don't like, you're stuck with it. Your name's on it. You're watching it. Yeah, and then we got a draft order. We figured it out right before the show. It was a lot of work, but we figured it out. It's a pseudo snake draft. We used our favorite random.org. That's our website. We randomized our names, and here I'll explain the rounds. The easiest thing it's going to be to do is to watch this thing on YouTube. The video is there. You can watch it. It'll make more sense watching it in a video form. We're live on Twitch right now, but playback will be on YouTube. So we took our names, and that took care of rounds 1 and 2. So round 1, Kyle, David, John, and then round 2, we reverse it. John, David, Kyle. For round 3, we took that middle person there, which was me, and then they got the first pick, and then we took the other 2 names and randomized those for picks 2 and 3. So it's David, Kyle, John in round 3. Finally, for round 4 and 5, we did another snake draft. We randomized the names again. Kyle, John, David, and then David, John, Kyle. So this way, everyone would get at least one first round pick. Looks like here, Kyle gets 2, I get 2, John, you get 1. I looked last year though. John and I got 2 first round picks. Kyle got 1, so it kind of worked out this year for Kyle, not so much John, but it could. This is a wild game because when you choose that first pick, you're also choosing the category, and then you got to stay in that category for that round. So you could start with any category, but maybe others value this one comedy over drama, or drama over wild card, or it could be whatever. So it's a lot of strategy involved with this game. But it's also a lot of fun. We're talking about TV. We'll go on tangents and talk about our favorite shows from these decades. We should probably start though. And we got round one. And it starts off with Kyle. So Kyle, a lot of pressure here in round one. You can choose any show that ever existed in the 2000s here. Any show that you want. First tell me the category. First tell me what category you're going to go to.
I'm going to go drama. I was thinking about going to a different category, but I don't want to leave it for other people. So
okay.
So I am going to go drama. I am between two.
I think I know the two.
But one is like my all-time like favorite show. I just don't know how I can't choose it. You know what I mean? But so when I tell you my choice, I'll tell you what the other option was, and you might be able to guess. But my choice for drama and the first overall selection is Mad Men. Yeah.
All right. I know where this is going here.
So
I like it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I knew you would probably appreciate that. But yeah, Mad Men is, my favorite show. Almost with the arc of the series, it's almost like three different shows in one when you really think about it and how it changes over time. So I'm happy with the selection. I think it's a tight category. I think there's fewer good dramas from this era, I want to say. I don't know.
Yeah, looking at my list, there was two that I had it between. So when I got the second pick, I was worried, but then I remembered what your favorite show is, and I'm like, I think I can get it. I think I can get it. As long as John doesn't get the first pick, I think I can steal it from John. I'll leave it at that for now. But Mad Men, yeah, I mean, this was the one that really started, the whole like revolution. I have a book
Prestige
on this
TV.
The revolution was televised, and it shows Don Draper on there. This, especially for cable, this really started it all. This was the first cable show to win drama series at the Emmys. It was this big Emmys darling. It was 4 times in a row for drama series. This put AMC on the map. It really shuffled a whole new era of television. And I never rewatched it. I watched it when it first aired. So I'd really be curious to see how it would play on a replay, on a binge, because, I feel like a show like, AMC's other show, Breaking Bad, I feel like that's more maybe of a plot show than maybe a character show. But I feel like Mad Men is more of a character show than a specific plot show. So I'd be really curious to see if it would work, better in a binge versus the week to week. I mean, it was great week to week, but I'm really curious have you ever tried rewatching it?
I mean, I wasn't watching Mad Men until season 4 or 5, and I binged it up until that point in about a week, just because I was so like mesmerized and taken with the series. So, and then I've gone back and I've watched episodes here and there. But it is a drama series. You got to like invest time. So if I wanted to do that again, it's a time commitment. So, but I'll go back and I'll watch episodes here and there, and it does. You can tell the vibe changes over time. It changes. The show definitely evolves.
Definitely. Yeah. So all right, Mad Men is off the board.
And Dave couldn't be happier.
I couldn't be happier. John, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, John.
I'm going to stop the stream right now.
No,
and just
come on.
Go to bed.
All right, before I pick this show, I just want to send a message out to our friend at the Good, Bad, and Watchable, Mark. The Sopranos is not eligible, okay, Mark? Sure, most of it aired in the 2000s. But it was drafted in the 90s draft, so I could hear him already. How come no one picked The Sopranos? 1999 is when The Sopranos dropped, so it's not eligible in this at all. The show I am going to pick is another show that aired on AMC. It also won for drama series. It won it twice there. 16 Emmy wins total, 2 Peabodys. In 2013, the show entered the Guinness World Records book as the most critically acclaimed TV show of all time. We were just talking about its spinoff not too long ago, Breaking Bad.
Yep.
John had the image all ready to go. He knew where I was going.
Yep.
I mean, how can I not pick this?
No, that's fair, but you also couldn't have,
Yeah, I couldn't have. To be honest, between the two shows, I had Breaking Bad higher than Mad Men. I just always gravitated more towards that show, but both are, Emmy darlings. I knew Kyle really has loved Mad Men, so I'm like, okay, I think I can get Breaking Bad. But what did you think? Was that was your other show, right, Kyle?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a good show, and some consider that to be the best show of the 2000s. So I don't think you can really go wrong either way. They're both really, really good shows, and the height of that prestige TV.
Yeah, and we've mentioned it in the past, like the comparison between Saul and Breaking Bad, because there's a lot of debate online. It's like, is Saul better than Breaking Bad? And people go back and forth. Oh, I like this better. I like that better. It'll be interesting to see. I have definitely rewatched it a couple of times, Breaking Bad, but my goal is for when Saul is over to watch Breaking Bad, and then
I feel like it's a different. I feel like it's a different show, though.
Yeah,
like it's a totally
is.
different vibe, and that's what I like. But what I liked about Breaking Bad, I liked Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad. He gave you those moments because it was that vibe change. Yeah. So like, I mean, they're so different. I don't even want to compare them. I just know I dismiss Better Call Saul. I know it's so good, and then I forget about it. And then once it comes back, I'm like, how could I ever forget about this show, man?
Yeah, it's tough. And because I think it kind of goes back to my comparison when I was saying Mad Men is more of a character show. Well, obviously both have elements of character and plot. I feel like Breaking Bad, when it came down to it, there was a lot of plot. It was those moments. It was the lead up. Obviously there was, character change, and, the change of Walter White from, was it Mr. Chips to Scarface? That's what everyone always said about his character there. Mm. But to me, I feel like, Better Call Saul is the more like character show, maybe less about plot, more about the character and the change of that character. I've been talking a lot here. John, this is one of your favorite shows. I took it from you. Thoughts on Breaking Bad?
I can't agree with you guys more. I mean, it definitely deserves to be in this draft. It definitely deserves to be one of the higher picks, I think. And yeah, as much as I love Saul, and I think Saul's better, that doesn't dismiss or diminish what Breaking Bad did and the groundwork it laid. I mean, Saul is only as good as it is because of Breaking Bad, and Breaking Bad was great on its own, standing on the shoulders of giants, as they say. So definitely.
What I have definitely some honorable mentions, but I mean, John still has to pick his. I think what we should do at the end, because this is going to be hard, because I can't really do too many honorable mentions now. Yeah. Because there still is a wild card slot, and then eventually, who knows? You could pick a drama that was a network hit, or vice versa. So I mean, we got to save all the honorable mentions for the end, and we'll talk about the ones that missed the cut. But John, what are you going for the last drama pick?
I'm going to take a really hard turn and go someplace that neither of you two are going.
I'm worried.
Just because my pick was chosen.
Okay.
This came out, I think, 2001.
Okay.
And I think it was pretty big for when it came out. It's definitely impactful. Let me make sure that this image is sized appropriately while I talk. Yeah. I'm going to pick for my drama, Band of Brothers.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of hard to get more dramatic than war, and this was done in a very, I don't want to say impactful, because I said impactful like 6 times already, but like you felt it. It wasn't, there was nothing was pulled. There were no punches pulled. It is what it is, and I remember watching it and kind of being amazed that was something that would even be made or be aired. So it had a little bit of an impact on me, and it's something, like I said, very different from, I think, anything else that has been chosen so far. So
yeah, dude, that show was intense too, and I think it was around that time. I don't know what was going on, but World War II was like everywhere. Mm-hmm. Medal of Honor video games about World War II were all over the place, and I think it just was hitting around that time. And it just like, it's similar in time to Saving Private Ryan, all those. And so, yeah, this show is really, really well done. They put like a lot of care and effort into this thing.
I'm gonna be honest. It's on my list. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's good.
So I'm gonna have to add it to the list. I'll have to get John's streaming service, I guess, to watch Band of Brothers. But all right, okay, 1 category down, 4 to go, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the inverse of what we just did here. Now John gets the first pick. He gets to choose the category. So John, you got 4 categories here. Where are you going?
I'm gonna go comedy.
Okay.
And I think now it's my turn to snipe some from one of you guys.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going.
I have, I think, 3 possibilities that I think if I don't take any of them, you guys are. So, let me pull up some images. Oh, shoot. I got to juggle 6 things at once. I'm going to choose, I think I'm going to choose The Office. How could you not?
Yeah.
It was big. I'm not going to say that it is my number 1 favorite show on this list. However, I recognize how big of a show it was and still continues to be. I mean, people were leaving Netflix when it left Netflix to go to, what was it? Did it go to Peacock? Like, it has a following. So I don't know. It's big. That's all I could say, and I think it's worth grabbing.
It's so stupid popular. Like, you can do quotes from that show, and people of all types will get it because they've seen the show. So it's just massive. I think it with the rise of streaming service, it just took off with that, and I think so many audiences have seen it now to where, even if you're like, you have people that are sizing up whether they're British Office fans or American The Office fans,
You chose the US one, John?
Yes.
I just want to make sure. Okay. I could do that technicality here and be like, oh, you chose the UK one. I'll choose the US one.
The UK one came out before the US one, right?
I think it did, but I think you're both in the 2000s.
No, okay. Yeah, no, I'm going to choose the US one. I haven't seen more than an episode or 2 of the UK one, and it doesn't hit for me as hard, but yeah, I mean, this one is a pure stopping power pick. It's big. Everyone knows it. People are flocking around following it. So, it's just a numbers game at this point for this one.
Yeah. I mean, 1 for Emmys and 1 for comedy series. And as you guys mentioned, it was like Netflix's number 1 show, and it wasn't even on a Netflix. Like, it wasn't Netflix's show. Like, it's just, yeah. I mean, Peacock pretty much changed their pricing tiers to explain like what they are based on what office you got. Like, oh, you get seasons 1 with this plan, but you get the extra seasons 2, the more fun stuff version with, it's like, you get 200 episodes. This is something I'll go back to all the time and just put on easy watch. Like, it's comfort. This would have been my number 1 pick for comedy, easy. And that's where I was actually like wondering when this draft first started, I'm like, if I get the number 1 pick in either of these categories, like especially overall, like, do I go drama first to snag Breaking Bad, or do I go comedy first to snag Office? So I'm glad I got at least one of them. I knew I wasn't probably going to get both. I wasn't going to get that lucky. But it's my turn for the next pick here, and this is where it gets interesting because there's a lot of stuff on the same like level for me.
Yep.
I have it between 2 right now, and I think I'm going to try to play the odds. Pick a show that I think Kyle would pick over the other, and maybe something I can use later on in a different category if I need to. So I'm going to say, for my comedy pick, it's a show that is still airing episodes to this day, over 15 seasons. It's been renewed through season 18, so it's going to be in another decade, probably. Some of these episodes may not last on my streaming service because they could get pulled for various reasons because they don't maybe age as well. But over, 162 episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's what I'm going for here. It's Always Sunny. Again, this is just another one where I had it between 2, and it's like, I think the other one, I like, but I think some of the highs of Always Sunny are higher than a lot of other shows. there could be some clunkers here and there, especially in the later seasons, but there's still laugh out loud moments. The ensemble, like I go from various points. Oh, Dennis is my favorite. No, Mac's my favorite. Oh, I love Charlie. Oh, Frank. I mean, Sweet D. Like, it's just the whole world that they created, all the side characters. It's just fun. Just craziness. John, you like the pick?
Yeah, that was one of my 3 that I had that I thought you guys were going to take and that I was going to take. So, it probably was 3 out of the 3 based on stopping power, which is kind of what I'm basing this category on. But yes, it was one of the 3 I had kind of honed in on.
Okay, Kyle, what about you?
You ruined this. Your strategy was supposed to be my strategy. That's what I was thinking.
I'm stealing them tonight. I'm not playing nice.
Oh man, I love the pick because that's exactly what I was gonna do. But now, you took it out of my hands. So maybe I should feel blessed by that. But yeah, no. I mean, I wanted this pick as well because I agree with everything you said. I think they just have some great episodes, and overall, I mean, even towards the end of the run when I was binging it, it's like still hitting.
Yeah, and it's still going. I mean, all these other shows I think we're talking about, I think they're all done. So it's like I'm still going to be getting new episodes, for the next 3 or 4 years at least. So.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Kyle, where are we ending in comedy?
Yep. So, there's actually 2 that I could choose from if I really wanted to, thinking about it. But maybe I just gave you a hint into my thinking. But I think with the last pick in the comedy round, I'm going to go with Parks and Recreation.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
I mean, I think of what was left, that's the most solid. I would think. I have a couple up my sleeve that might. But I think that's a solid choice with a good, sizable episode. Marker that people who subscribe to my streaming service will love the fact that there's however many episodes in 7 or 8 seasons.
126. I gotcha. 14 Emmy noms, and this was the one I had it between. I was between Parks and Rec and Always Sunny. I'm like, I think Parks and Rec is probably a bit more popular. It has the Office kind of crossover audience a little bit. The cast is, Amy Poehler, Rashida Jones, Aziz, Nick Offerman, Aubrey Plaza, Chris Pratt, Adam Scott, Rob. It's the guest stars alone. It's a huge like Simpsons-like universe of characters. Mm-hmm. So, I mean. Great cast, some great episodes. I think for me, towards the end, it kind of
definitely.
It has like the Office thing as well, where it's like seasons 1 and 2, especially season 1. The last season, but like that middle sections, seasons 3, 4, it's like okay, some really good stuff in there
for sure.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely a very good pick. Let me recap where we are after 2 rounds. Let's see here. So, on my team for drama, I have Breaking Bad, and for comedy, I have Always Sunny.
That's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, we have. Let's see. John has Band of Brothers and The Office.
That's pretty good too.
Mm-hmm. And Kyle, you got Mad Men and Parks and Rec.
It's okay.
That's pretty good too. we all have. I think these are all Emmy winners. Actually, Always Sunny. I think they made jokes about how they don't get Emmys. So I'm not sure about Parks and Rec either, but all the other ones definitely have Emmys under their belt so far. Let's see here. So now I get the next pick. All right, I get to choose where we're going, I believe here. Yeah, round 3.
Round 3. I'm number 2.
David, Kyle, John. So I think this is where it's interesting because I'm going to just talk out loud. My strategy here is I think wild card I can save for the end. It's just, anything goes in that category. There's not many options. Network hit, I feel like, I could get some big players. I think there's enough at the end I could finagle something and get it to work. The reality and animation is where I'm kind of leaning towards choosing right now because there's not, I feel like, as many that I want. this year, I mean, or this decade was the boom of reality television.
Yeah.
There is so much reality television, and I'm a reality TV fan, but I mean, there's some of these and you're getting down the list. I'm like, I don't want this on my service. This is, the crap reality TV. And then when I was looking at animation, for me, the heavyweights, I think we chose them last draft because you had
in the 90s.
In the 90s and even still, like The Simpsons wasn't eligible because that was the 80s technically. So I think I'm gonna go reality animation. This may be a dumb, strategy pick because I don't think you guys are gonna go for it. But I would be really mad. I took some other favorite shows from people. I'd be really mad if someone took my favorite show, especially in the reality animation category here. I'll try to do my best. 42 seasons, 50 million people watched the finale. 1 Survivor. That's my Jeff Probst here. We're going with Survivor.
Did that come out in the 2000s?
Came out May of 2000.
Wow.
So yeah, we're going with Survivor. I got 42 seasons so far. I'm re-binging it myself right now. Some of these seasons I haven't seen since I was, 10, 11 years old. This show started it all. As I mentioned, 50 million people watched that first finale. Another like 45 million watched the second season's premiere, which was after the Super Bowl. And it's still going strong today. I believe it's like CBS's #1 show, like at least in the demo, and it always will win the night for the network still 22 years later, 42 seasons later. So they're still doing something right. I've talked about it on Quick Checks how it's changed a little bit in ways I don't like at the moment, but man, oh man, I mean, again, this started it all. This really started kind of just the reality TV craze. Sure, there was like the Real World and stuff like that, but this was the competition reality, and it made stars out of people. I mean, for better or worse, there's people in seasons 1 and 2 that are household names. Somebody was in a film with Rob Schneider, co-starred in a film with Rob Schneider from season 1. Season 2 was the host of The View, and then went on to some other networks we don't talk about. Like it's just, it was a huge show. So that's my pick. That's where I'm going. You guys like the pick?
I mean,
is it safe? Were you guys ever going to take it from me and be rude?
No, honestly, I didn't even know it existed in 2000. I thought it was 90s.
Wow. Okay.
But it's a good pick. I mean, many episodes to choose from.
Yeah, I got a catalog, that's for sure. Yeah. Let's see here. So, Kyle, where are you gonna go?
All right. So, I agree. I was having trouble coming up with some animation picks. I just decided to ditch that. There's like several reality shows that I'm just like, I remember watching as a kid. But I don't think I could ever go back and watch them again, except one. I think.
Uh-oh.
And they've created, I think, several movies out of it at this point.
Really?
And I could still laugh to it like I did when I was young to when I am now. I'm going with Jackass.
I knew it. All right.
Going with Jackass. Yeah.
Wow,
Let's drop a dog bone on each other's testicles. Let's see how that feels.
Yeah, October 1st, 2000. All right. Let's see here. How many episodes? You got 25 episodes, 3 seasons of Jackass you can talk about. Any favorite Jackass pranks or
the one that
moments?
I still remember, the one that I remember from a kid, and it's a pretty tame one, but they're just sitting there in like tighty whities trying to toss a racquetball onto each other's testicles. And then whoever like got the most points got to throw a dog, like a literal rawhide dog bone on. I was like, what are these guys doing, man? They lost their minds.
This is the decade I think we went downhill as a society. I think.
Yep.
Lost a bunch of brain cells, yeah.
Yeah, but one too many hits to the head. That's for sure. All right, John, are you a Jackass fan?
I enjoy most of Jackass. Every once in a while, they have something that just gets me, and I'm just like,
I will agree with that.
There was one where the guy put on like a fishbowl helmet that had a hose into it, and the other guy farted into it, and the first guy just barfed his brains out, and that's scarred into my mind forever. But then you have dumb things like, you know, them tying a fish to their testicles and having an eagle come and try and grab the fish, like stupid stuff like that, which is hilarious. Like,
oh my god, I wasn't allowed to watch Jackass, so
what better time than now?
Yeah,
you can find it on Kyle Bridger's streaming service.
Yeah, Kyle Plus. All right, yeah. Okay, well, that's there. John, where are you going to finish out this category?
This was a hard category.
Yeah.
But excuse me, I just now found a show that I think is going to be worth my time and worth my money as a streaming company. It is Kitchen Nightmares.
Okay.
Reality show. I mean, I don't know how much of it was really reality, but at the same time, it's something that it's on YouTube. You could put it on, and that's like the perfect background, because you tune it out when, you know, they're just saying, oh, this food is great. And then you look in just to see, like, oh my God, look how much grease is behind that fryer. Oh, you know, like, disgusting. Like, it's like the perfect binge show. I believe there was, I don't know, like 8 seasons or something, or 12 seasons or something crazy. Like, there's a ton of episodes. There are places that maybe you can go now, or maybe are closed. You can go look into their history. So I don't know. It's just something that I know that I have put on and have just kind of had in the background, like a lot of people put The Office on.
Is this the one with the meme where he puts the girl's head between the 2 pieces of bread and says, "What are you?" And then she says, "An idiot
that's Julie
sandwich."
Chen.
Is it really?
I think so, because I think it's like from a parody like video. I think. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
So it's like a joke.
I think that was one of the ones like Hell's Kitchen, where it's a team trying to cook.
There's been so many.
And he has a lot of stuff. This is one where he goes to like a failing restaurant where like the manager's like, yeah, we only serve peanut butter and jelly that's 3 days old. And Gordon's like, nah, dude, you can't do that. You got to serve it fresh. And they have it like they fight, and you know.
Yeah, so I'm looking up. Yeah, Know Your Meme. I guess it's from the Late Late Show with James Corden like bit, along with Julie Chen, Gordon Ramsay. They put together a skit called Hell's Cafeteria during the skit. So yeah, but for me, there was a point where I got into like a kick with these like Kitchen Nightmares, Restaurant Impossible, Bar Rescue, all these shows where it's like, oh, like, what were you thinking? You thought this layout, this menu was a good idea? And then, you know, by the end of the episode, it's the same thing every week. You know, it's this, oh, everything is fixed. You know, we're a happy family now. And then you realize, like, yeah, in 48 hours, they didn't learn anything about business and how to run a business. No. So it's like, it's just going to fail. But hey, it looks nice, though. Look at that coat of paint on it. It looks good. But yeah, I like this pick. I would watch a bunch of Kitchen Nightmares in a row. That's for sure.
It was definitely not one that I found initially researching like shows. And then just while we were doing this, I was just Googling some stuff just to see like, you know, I didn't like what I had written down. So I was glad to see it.
I have a show at the end I'll mention in my honorable mentions that I thought it was where you were going. And I thought you'll probably like the pick, I think, at the end. But we'll you can't change it now, so sorry. But all right, let's see here. 2 categories left. We have Network Hit and Wild Card. Let's see. Kyle, where are you going to go?
I'm going to go with a Network Hit.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a few good ones left. And, oh, man. I'm kind of I'm going to remind
the audience here that this is a show that had to have aired on ABC, CBS, Fox, or NBC.
And I'm kind of torn here because I'm seeing just at the last second here in my notes one that I really like. And I'm just like, am I going to let that go? Oh, man. This is a tough one. All right. Yeah. At the last second, I'm switching up my initial thought. And I am going to go with Friday Night Lights.
Okay. Friday Night Lights. That was NBC?
Yes.
Let's see here. Tell me about it.
So Friday Night Lights. Sorry, I was jotting it down to make sure that I had marked it. But yeah, Friday Night Lights. It comes off the movie, but then it hung on to the source material initially, but then it kind of became its own thing. Coach Eric Taylor, right? Kyle Chandler does a great job. Connie Britton. And just like, you get it has a lot of feel good vibes to it. And I think it has a high school element, so everyone can relate to that. And then it's just like kids trying to achieve their dreams, and you had this good relationship between the coach and his wife. So it's wholesome and enjoyable. So yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, this was one I never got into. I've always heard good things about it. Yeah, I know some crazy stuff happens, I guess, in season 2 with a character from Breaking Bad. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and I will say there's a writer strike that happens during one of the seasons, and just one character that was in there just completely just goes away, and you're like, okay, I guess that guy's never coming back.
Yeah, that was like 2007, 2008. It was like it really screwed up a lot of shows.
Yeah,
back then. All right, John, any thoughts on Friday Night Lights?
Never seen it.
No,
nope,
never seen it. Well, there you go, another thing to watch.
Here's mine that I saved early.
There you go.
By mistake, but yeah, so I'm gonna choose Scrubs as my network hit.
Okay,
jumping right in. Another stopping power. It was pretty big for its time. Great comedy. It was one of those shows where the chemistry is just hard to beat. It's almost perfect in some regards. So I think it's a good pick for a network hit. It was pretty big, I believe, for its time.
Yeah, it was. 9 seasons or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so close. Yeah, 182 episodes. And they tried doing that like 9th season like reboot kind of thing with like the new class. Like Dave Franco and Harry Bichet from *Halt and Catch Fire* was actually in it.
We'll leave that one out.
Yeah,
that can not be on the streaming service.
Okay, but yeah, for me, this will be blasphemy on the podcast. I never really got into Scrubs. I couldn't get into it. I don't know if it was just the Zach Braff of it all, seeing it so many years later. I don't know what it was. I understand, like, okay, there's some parts where, okay, that's funny. I get where it is, but it was a little bit too much for me with the zaniness. So yeah, it was hard for me to get into Scrubs. But,
yeah, I get that.
But yeah, all right, we're going with me here, and Kyle chose a drama. John chose a comedy. I'm really between a lot here because I have 1 or 2 dramas I could pick.
There's a couple of good ones still left.
Yeah. There's a lot, I'll say, of NBC's Thursday night block.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good stuff there. I could choose some of them, but there's one show that would probably be in one of my just top slots. Like, you asked me, especially before some of these later rebooted seasons, I would have said this is one of my favorite shows of all time. Probably my favorite comedy up there was Seinfeld, this show. And it's not as many episodes, and it's not a network hit. It's a network cult classic. Hopefully that's okay for you guys. I'm going to go with Arrested Development as my pick. So, this show had an interesting, what would I say, journey to to being on Fox for 3 seasons. It won plenty of Emmys that first season. It was a critics hit. People loved this show. Just no one ever watched it on Fox, and then years later on streaming, that's when people actually got around to watching it. Seasons 1 through 3 that aired on Fox belong in like a TV Hall of Fame. It is some of the best writing. It's just the way it seemed like everything was planned out, almost like a Breaking Bad type situation where something, set up in episode 2 of season 1 was paid off in episode 3 of season 3. And then it worked backwards. And then there was visual, like the first time I watched this, I was like, yeah, it's good. It's good. I rewatched it and I picked up so many other jokes. And then the third time I rewatched it, I picked up even more. And then there's just like little things of how a character may sit on a bench, and then that bench, the way he's sitting, is blocking certain letters, which is a joke. And then something about, it's just, there's so many layers of jokes on jokes on jokes. And the cast, the ensemble cast, whether it's Jason Bateman, David Cross, Will Arnett, Michael Cera, just every single one of them. I mean, in that whole world too. Henry Winkler, as a side character, all the guest stars. We won't talk about the Netflix seasons. I mean, season 4, I will admit, when I first watched it, the hype was so high, my expectations were so high that did it really live up to those expectations? Not really. On second glance, I really appreciate what they did with kind of the experiment, because that was like one of the first Netflix shows.
Yeah.
And for them to kind of experiment with like, you can watch one episode and then watch episode 7 and then watch half episode 3 and it would still all kind of work with the story. Like, it was an interesting experiment. Season 5 was completely like, it was nonsense. It was hard to get through
with it.
So yeah, I give me just those first 3 seasons, as John was saying with Scrubs there. I'll take it. That's Arrested Development. What do you guys think of the pick? You ever get into Arrested Development?
I mean, I watched all 3 seasons on Fox. I know that. And I saw the 4th season on Netflix. And I thought, I mean, it's with Arrested Development, it's not really laugh out loud to me, but it's like, it's almost like I see what you did there. Yep. Okay. Yeah. It's like more clever than funny, but I still appreciate it.
Yeah. I don't know if I would put this on a network hit, but I definitely think it deserves to be on this list somewhere. Yeah,
that's where I was hoping like the network hit just sounds, I think, good instead of just calling it network category. Hit is a very loose term, especially with this show. But yeah, all right, here I got wildcard, and I really don't know where I want to go. I got some leftover comedy stuff, but do I want that on my service? Do I want something big where maybe a drama that people would maybe binge? I don't know. Where could I go with this? Let's see. It could be anything. Could be anything. Oh my god, I don't know what to do. I don't like this position I'm in right now. Oh man, let's see. Do I choose? Okay. Oh my god, where should I go? I don't know what to do. Can I just stall for time here?
No, I mean,
you can go.
You've got the first pick, man.
Yeah, go to the back of the line. Let me choose first.
Okay, no. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do, I got. Okay, you know what? This will help me decide. I already got 2 comedies on here. I got 1 drama. I'm going to do a drama.
Okay.
And that leaves, I got 4 possible ones. One is certainly more acclaimed than the other, but I'm going to admit I haven't seen any of it, so I feel like it would be a cheat for me to put it on. For my wild card, I'm going to go with a show that was definitely a network hit. A very divisive finale. 120 some episodes. I'm surprised it hasn't been rebooted yet. Lost.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Lost here.
Almost chose that as my network.
This was one of my shows where I binged this thing. This was one of the first shows I remember binging. Yes, this was one of those shows probably hurt with the 20 episode plus mandate of a network season. There's a couple episodes in there that are kind of like just to fill time, to get through, the network order. But man, I think this would be a really good if it was like a cable series now, 10, 13 episode season.
And they had
but even still,
any sort of plan.
that is true. But yeah, I mean, just the ride. Yeah, sure. There's a lot of takes on the finale. It left a lot of bad taste in people's mouths. But I think just the journey to that moment, the mysteries, what's in the hatch, and just everything leading up to it, just the things you find out about characters along the way, just the sci-fi elements, the mix of kind of Survivor in there. I think this is a good pick to have. I wanted 2 dramas and 2 comedies, so that's where I ended up going for wild card.
Yeah.
Were you ever a Lost guy, John?
I watched it and I was disappointed by the finale like everyone else. But I watched it after it came out, so I was able to kind of binge it, and I think that made the finale less impactful than people who watched it week to week. Because I heard a lot of people say that they watched it week to week and they really enjoyed it, and a lot of people who binged it said they didn't enjoy it. So I totally can see how that could be a thing. So that was kind of my experience with it. But yes, I did watch it, and yeah, I kind of agree. The end was kind of lame, but the rest of it was pretty good. I liked being in suspense, and I wish that there was not better writing, but I wish that there was more
coherent.
Yeah, I wish there was a little bit more coherent, and I wish that there was more interlocking storylines where like it was a little bit deeper. You know, I don't know. It's a little hard to explain, but
that's why maybe if I have the rights for this, they can do a cable version or a streaming version that's like 10 episodes, really tight. A, B, and C, they know where they're going. But all right, that's my pick of Lost. 2 picks left here tonight. We're gonna go with John. What is your wild card pick?
This is gonna be another one of those ones where it started out, and then it got lame. Yeah, I don't know. It was one of those ones, same as Lost, where I was really into it. It was really good. And then at the middle of season 5, right when they're running down that slope from the writer's strike, it didn't go so well. And I
just realized, have we said the name yet? I don't know if we said
Dexter.
It's Dexter. Yes.
I just it's one of those shows where it had such a high that it's imprinted on me. I really enjoyed up to that season 4 or arc, and that almost is one of the more perfect couple of seasons of anything I've ever watched, and it's a shame the way it kind of ended up. But yeah, I think that it's still worth seeing, even though it doesn't end quite the way I would like it to. I think it's still worth the journey.
Yeah, seasons 1 and 4 are some of the best. Like that was stuff I was binging. I bought the DVDs because I didn't have Showtime. I would binge it in like a day. It was so good, like the first 4 seasons, and then when that showrunner left, seasons 5 through 8, they just really just dropped the ball. And that last season, when it was airing up against Breaking Bad's final season, you just saw the difference between these 2 shows, and it's just these are just in different worlds.
Yeah.
They don't belong in the same sentence, and it just really dropped the ball. Hey, do you also get Dexter New Blood with this? Or is that a different?
I think that's a different show. I mean, they kind
do
of
you want Dexter New Blood?
Yeah, well, that's another issue.
Well, I will say Dexter New Blood was definitely better than the last 2 or 3 seasons of Dexter. So maybe it wasn't seasons 1 through 4, but it was definitely better than 7 and 8.
From everything I've seen, it's been billed as a new show, not as a new season. But hey, you know what? More content's more content. If it's available, put it on there, I guess.
And it's one of Showtime's biggest shows ever. Like if Michael C. Hall was like, I'll do another 10 seasons of Dexter, they'd be like, all right, let's do it tomorrow. Yeah. Like they would take it. But all right, Kyle, finish us off.
All right, for my wild card, I'm gonna go with a true wild card. I don't think any of you even have it remotely in your mind, possibly.
Oh wow!
It's one of the best sketch comedy shows of all time. Some would credit it with getting
I think I know it.
Key and Peele's start, and all the rest of them. But my wild card is Chappelle's Show.
I had a feeling you're going that way.
To me, I think it's the funniest sketch show of all time. Even to this day, some of the sketches are still, spot on. So, it is a wild card. It is another comedy because I already have 2 dramas, so another comedy we got. But yeah, I think it's a good comedy and a good sketch show. We don't have a lot of sketch show stuff, so why not?
Yeah, could be one that you may need to pull here or there. You don't know what's going on in current events, especially obviously when it's right now. July, whatever it is tonight. Who knows what's happening in the news this week? I mean, I haven't been paying attention to my phone. Like, anything could be happening in July of whatever this is.
Yep.
But yeah, okay, yeah, it's Chappelle's show. Yeah, I was wondering if you're gonna go there, and I was wondering if that could, like, I saw that and I was like, could this be could we sneak it into the, I don't know, reality isn't the right word, but kind of like that reality animation category. Could it be in there with that? And yeah, I think that's a good wild card pick, because it definitely, I don't know where it would go in the other categories except for comedy. But all right, we did it. We did it. We built a streaming service, 3 of them to be exact. I'll read through them, and then we'll talk about some honorable mentions. But for myself, I have Breaking Bad, Always Sunny, Survivor, Arrested Development, and Lost. John has Band of Brothers, The Office, Kitchen Nightmares, Scrubs, and Dexter. And Kyle has Mad Men, Parks and Rec, Jackass, Friday Night Lights, and Chappelle's Show. All right. I think we all did very good tonight. I will say I really like my list. I mean, like, I always say I have like a top 5 or 6 shows of all time. Breaking Bad, Survivor, just Seinfeld, Nathan For You, and maybe Arrested Development would be in there too. So it's like to have like 3 of my top 5 shows of all time, I'll take it. I know Mad Men is one of Kyle's favorites. So
Chappelle's Show is my favorite sketch comedy show. So
and John, to get The Office and to get the your favorite show of all time, Dexter. It's just wow. To pick Dexter, that's what I'm gonna say. To pick Dexter over Breaking Bad, what a choice! What a choice, John.
Yeah, all right.
But all right, let's run through some honorable mentions real quick here. Let's start off with drama.
West Wing.
West Wing. I think that was 90s.
90s it was? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I picked that in the last draft as my drama pick.
The Wire.
The Wire. I had that because I'm like, and that was the one I'm like, do I pick this?
Yeah.
Because I never watched it. But I'm like, maybe now it's an excuse because, well, I finally get around to it. It's on my network here. I can watch it finally. But yeah. Let's see.
That's really what I had.
Those were on my list. Yeah, I wrote.
I was thinking as a possible network hit, CSI. When that show first came out, it was like revolutionary, man. Yeah.
And I was like most people, I'm like, oh, maybe should I become a forensics expert here and go to school for that? Like everyone was into that because of that show.
Yeah.
I have 24 listed as a show.
Oh yeah.
You got like 8.5 seasons, a TV movie. I'm not sure how well it holds up. All these years later, but it did win best drama. It was definitely a big hit, and it was another one of those first shows I ever binged, watching those 24 episodes in a row in a weekend with my dad. It was like, oh, we gotta watch the next one. We gotta watch the next one. But
I have House and Bones as well.
A House,
A House, yes.
Yeah.
House is a good one. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Comedy. We did like my top 3 here. A couple other ones, I was like, as I mentioned, like the kind of NBC must-see TV Thursday nights. I had Community, 110 episodes, great cast, another kind of cult favorite. Some seasons better than others. 30 Rock. It was one of those shows where it's like, it's a very specific brand of zaniness, but it helps because like, as TV production people, it's like, oh, kind of have that kind of behind the scenes jokes and stuff like that, but it can kind of get on my nerves a little bit sometimes, just with that level of zaniness. But I got a few more. But any comedies for you guys?
How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah,
was the one that I was thinking of and possibly taking. I mean, I really liked that show when I was younger. A lot of this stuff probably doesn't hold up well, but
And then that finale, that finale left such a bad taste in my mouth. I never felt a need to rewatch it because of that finale and that final season.
Was Curb 90s?
Curb was technically available for this because we had a big moment in last draft where we said Seinfeld was ineligible. The pilot was in 1989, but then we said Curb Your Enthusiasm wasn't eligible in 1990s because they had like it was only like a single stand-up special that they released in 99, and then the official season 1 was 2000.
So Curb was there. Entourage was a possibility. For comedy, more like reality, I guess. Not reality, but I guess you'd have to put it in comedy. Colbert Report.
Oh, yeah, I was into that for a while.
Yeah.
In that heyday, yeah. Let's see. I have 2 other shows I'll mention just because they were big comedy hits, but they weren't anything I would have put on my service. But they had huge libraries, over 250 episodes for both of them. The Big Bang Theory, Modern Family. Those are some big shows. Just John, any other comedies I'm missing?
No, that was a tough one for me. I couldn't really think of a ton that we hadn't already picked. I had like 3 or 4 that I had on my list, and they got scooped up pretty quickly.
Yeah. For reality and animation, it was like I had to get Survivor, even though I know you guys probably weren't going to take it. It's just I didn't want any of these other ones. I like Big Brother, but man, it doesn't. That's a rough show to binge. There's like 30-40 episodes a season, and it's like all the same thing, BS. Like, it's better to have like the live feeds. If those came with it, it's like maybe you can watch it, but like no, you don't want the edited version of that show sometimes. The Bachelor, you could choose. That's a franchise with like 26 seasons of content. I think just for The Bachelor, I mean, I don't know if that counts the 18 seasons of The Bachelorette and The Bachelor Pad and The Bachelor in Paradise and The Bachelor Winter Games and whatever,
For reality,
yeah,
I'm thinking. I loved watching Pimp My Ride when I was young.
Pimp My Ride, yeah.
Pimp My Ride. Like, let's
that
put
was
a
another
hot
show,
tub
like
in
Kitchen
this
Nightmares that had to be completely fake.
Yeah.
There's no way any of those were like drivable.
No. Pimp My Ride. The Hills.
The Hills. You were a The Hills fan?
No, but I love the fact that the final shot is them zooming out.
Spoiler. Just kidding.
Yeah, I know. Zooming out and showing that they're on like the Warner Brothers studio lot.
Yeah.
So it's like
there's somebody in this household that showed me that exact shot because it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
That reveal at the end of the episode or the end of the series. Yeah, that's cool. Let's see. I mentioned Fear Factor.
Yep.
6 seasons. Slightly problematic host. I don't know if you want him on your service, but maybe. I don't know. Not for me. And then let's see. This is the one, John, I thought you were going to maybe go with in this category. Mythbusters.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that would have been a good
That's
one.
kind of reality. You got 300 episodes there. I feel like that's something that you would have gone for. But.
I had one that I wish had more episodes because I remember enjoying it, but Cash Cab.
Oh yeah,
it was a classic game show. It was entertaining. I remember watching it and with family and all guests and everything. I just don't think it has that many episodes to really be a contender in anything. It has some, but I don't remember it being more than a season or 2, right?
Of Cash Cab?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
I think they have like a lot of seasons. I think they did a reboot of it. Yeah, let me see how many episodes they have. Cash Cab.
Maybe I
always wanted to be on Cash Cab.
Yeah, right.
Supposedly looks like there's 14 seasons.
Oh wow! Okay.
What?
Then I missed
Cash Cab.
How many were a reboot?
Like, let's see. So from 2005 to 2012, it aired on Discovery, and then then there was another year, 2017 to 2018, and now it's on Bravo, 2019 to 2020.
Wow, I thought it was only a couple seasons. All right, maybe I made a mistake then.
Yeah, number of episodes, 487 episodes. There's a lot of episodes of Cash Cab.
I'm gonna go over dub and choose something else.
All right. Wow. Okay. I didn't know there was that many. I knew there was a lot, but not that many.
I didn't think there was that many at all. Wow.
I'll just bring it back. One of my favorite episodes of 30 Rock is when Tracy Morgan accidentally goes into the cash cab. Just like, he's trying to get to I think his daughter's birth or whatever, and he's like, "You entered the cash cab," and he's just it's just so dumb. But all right,
Amazing Race.
Amazing Race. Yep, that's another good one. That was like the Emmys reality show pick for a while. Was the Amazing Race, but
Deadliest Catch, Jersey Shore.
Oh, Jersey Shore. Yeah, that was That was late 2000s, I think. But yeah. All right, t-shirt time. Oh yeah, the Cavs are here. We're winding it down. I think that's the way to end. The duck phone is calling, telling me to wrap it up. But yeah, all right. Well, if you liked what we did tonight, and I hope you did, after listening to this for like an hour or whatever it's been, we've done this before. We did this for the 90s. That's in episode 318, so you can listen to that. The 90s streaming service, we built that. And then we also did another draft this summer in episode 381. That is our annual summer box office draft. It's happening right now. I actually don't know how many films have come out right now. I lose track of where we are and what's come out at this point in the summer. So much is going on. We are going to be off next week. I need the time to recharge, but when we come back in August, August, I can't believe it. It's almost August already. We have so much to talk about. We have Nope, the Better Call Saul series finale, the House of the Dragon premiere, and then of course Emmy predictions. We're gonna predict who's gonna be winning the Emmys in September. If you want more Emmys, just last week we discussed the Emmy nominees in a special nomination reaction podcast. I can't believe some of those nominees. I still can't believe it. Weeks later, those nominees. Wow, I don't even know where to start with the nominees. Wow, where do we even begin? I'm
Ray
sure William
Seahorn
H. Macy.
finally.
Always, yeah. But okay. If you want any of those episodes, you can follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, doordon'tsee.com. Of course, twitch.tv/doordon'tsee. We are live there on Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. You can follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at doordon'tsee. And check out those social media sites because that will be where we post the poll of who won this streaming service draft. We'll post that up there and then we'll reveal the results later on this summer. I got to thank both you guys for joining me tonight, for doing this insane, crazy idea of drafting a streaming service. And, still taking just an hour of your night away from you. Just 1 hour just means so much to me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And for John, for directing the show, doing it live. There's a lot of moving parts with this one, not knowing what we're drafting and when. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm John Berwick.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Do or Done See. Goodbye, everybody.